Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome to this week's episode of Tuesday Preppers. This is an exciting week because we are going to be trying a new format that I'm excited to talk to you about, but we'll get to that in just a second. Before we do that, let's go ahead and jump right into the news and get an understanding of what some of the killers are that we have coming up. First thing first, we got a Chronicle battle coming up this week against the Shura Fell Spirit. The Shura Fell Spirit is a demon that is weak to wind and earth, and you can use spirit breaks and defense breaks on it, but that's about it. So other than that, you can use imperils and things like that, buff your own strengths, but that's kind of your goal. So part of the new format is to talk about what units I think would be useful against this. And first and foremost, I think that the most useful unit that you're going to find against this trial, if you're trying to buff up, is Paladin Sylvie. Paladin Sylvie can buff your earth damage and do breaks, as well as buff Demon Killer, so very, very strong. And then the other benefit to that is she also happens to be a bonus unit, so you can use Paladin Sylvie as a bonus unit to get more currency quickly, as well as getting parameter boost in battle. That's going to be pretty sweet. But that's kind of the list of units that you want to bring to this Chronicle battle to farm it up so that you can make the equipment. Get all the rewards, make all the equipment, blah, blah, blah. Good stuff. Now, at the very, very bottom, we do see that there's also this 3 Lower Realms trial that's coming out. It's 3 fights in a row. The last phase, the last of them is, 3 bosses. One is a Human Reaper, weak to earth. One is a Beast Plant, weak to wind. And then the last one is 2 Beast Humans that are weak to wind and earth. There's 1 of each. The good news is none of these bosses actually resist earth or wind, so you could just pick one element and just go with it, or you could bring 2 imbuers. But the other good thing is this trial does not have a time limit. You can take as long as you want, just don't die. So just gear for resistance and take your time and go in with 4 units and get all the good rewards. And the 3000 Lapis is the one that I'm really excited about. So the last thing I want to talk about here is the 12 Types Takedown. And so we've got another 12 Types trial, very rapid succession after the last one, but it's Gloomwing, which I think looks really, really cool. It is an insect boss weak to ice and wind. It's vulnerable to all breaks, and it gives Demon Killer as rewards. So going after this can get you Demon Killer to help you out with the other trials, although I doubt you really need much Demon Killer at this point. We have so much Demon Killer in the game, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Weak to ice and wind. There's not a ton of really great ice and wind imbuers, or ice imbuers. We've got General Celeste is pretty good. Yoshikiri is pretty good. Fravia is really good ice support, but does not actually do an imbue, so you have to bring 2 units to do what you want there. But you got some options. But then as far as wind goes, I'm thinking Bulwark. Bulwark's really solid for wind. Wylk is really solid for wind. Not AoE though. I think he just imbues himself. But Bulwark is really, really good. And so I think Bulwark is probably where a lot of people will bring somebody for a wind imbue for this trial. I would not be surprised to see that. But who really is going to be showing up to a lot of these trials is going to be Sylvie and Esther, because Sylvie can also give a bug killer buff as well as a demon killer buff. So bug killer good for this fight. Probably going to see a lot of Sylvies, not to mention all the other stuff Sylvie can do. So let's talk a little bit about the killers. I said we're going to be having a demon trial or demon chronicle, which we've had demon a million times over, and there's tons and tons of good demon killer that I don't even want to talk about at this moment because we've done so many. But there they are. Lots of trials you can get demon killer. There's humans, right? And again, humans have lots and lots of stuff that you can do. One of the ones I want to point out on here is the Thorned Mace. And there's 2 versions of it, the Thorned Mace Plus and the Thorned Mace Plus Plus, which you can get from Scorn of Antenolla, the various difficulties, which is the one we're going to be going after today. And so that's why I wanted to point this one out, because that is on there. But lots and lots of human killer. We've talked human killer to death, but there's your options. The other one, insect killer. Not a ton of choices. There are some decent ones for Insect Buster and Bug Killer Plus, a couple of items, but not a ton. Most of the really good stuff is TMRs and STMRs, and Scanning Goggles is one that's really, really good. So yeah, go get you some Bug Killer and take out the Gloomwing pretty quickly. But the new one that we've never had a chance to talk about, oh, Beast. We need to do Beast too. Beast, one of the enemies is a Beast plant, which is why we're talking about it last. Some trial rewards for Beast Killer. Some STMRs are really good. Valued Memories from Irvin is fantastic. But lots of good stuff here. Okay, Beast. But the one we've never talked about before is plants. And I did mention Scorn of Antenolla has Plant Killer. So we're going to be going after Scorn of Antenolla for Plant Killer Plus. And that's the one we're going to be doing today. Actually, we're doing 2 different trials. We're going to be doing 2 different difficulties for Scorn of Antenolla. Scanning Goggles on this for Plant Killer. Pretty good. Sage of Thunder, Sakura's Vestments is Plant Killer. Bartz's Blade is for Plant Killer. Adept Double Edge Spear from Mazurka is good Plant Killer as well. So lots of good trial, a few good trial rewards, but lots of TMRs and STMRs again. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going after Scorn of Antenolla. But there's another piece of new format that I want to talk with you about, and that is that when it comes to picking units for these trials, I thought it would be fun to start doing something different. Rather than just picking random units that I thought would be good at beating trials, I thought it might be fun if we go into the special shop and we swipe over to the EX Coins shop and we pick units from this list that you can get EX3 very, very easily as a Neovision's Awakening unit to go after these trials with these units specifically. So, what do we have here? We've got these all just came out last week. We've got Medina for ice finishing and ice chaining. We've got Lone Lion Squall for capping, Bartz for various wind support, Shantoto for a couple of different elemental chaining and supports. Shadow can do breaking and mirage. Balthier can do some chaining for lightning. Gilgamesh can do lots of different breaks and imperils, as well as chaining in different families. And Beatrix can cover tank and mitigate and do all kinds of really cool things. So I thought we can use these units that are in the shop that everybody can get EX3 of right now. Theoretically, if you have the EX coins, obviously I do. And then go after these trials using these units. I thought that'd be kind of fun. So let's do it. Here's the one we're going to go after. I said Scorn of Antenolla, which is in the Nemesis here. And all the way down. It's one of the earlier Nemesis trials. Here we go. And there's 2 of them. There's 2 difficulties. The basic version, Scorn of Antenolla, gives you the Thorned Mace Plus and Plant Killer Plus. So this is a good one. We're gonna get some good stuff here off of this one. If you want the rare summon ticket, it's gonna take a little longer because you got to do fire, wind, and dark damage. No items is pretty easy. Here's the team we're gonna use. Like I said, just those units that are in that shop, and we're gonna be using these. So Beatrix is just going to be in her shift form. She's geared for water, wind, and earth resistance and immunity to all statuses. That's very important for these fights. And then otherwise just built for as much high spirit as she can. I try to use as many old STMRs and trial rewards as possible. This is Prideful Incarnate is from the Clash of Wills shop. But everything else is available as an STMR of an old unit or a trial reward. And then this is a free vision card. Doesn't belong to anybody. There's Beatrix. Shadow is going to be using... he's going to be our passive provoker and evasion unit. He's going to be doing some gauge breaking on the harder difficulty version. And that's kind of how he's geared. There you go. Gilgamesh in the base form is going to be doing some chaining on the kill turn and breaking the gauge on the other turns. But he's built the same way. It's just in the shift form he has spears for breaking the gauge. There you go. He's built the same in both forms. Technically built for magic a little bit because he is doing some magic-based chaining. But, he's mainly doing the gauge break and doing some imperils and stuff like that. Medina is going to be doing some chaining and some damage. Everybody's got status immunity, and then other than that, she's got Plant Killer and True Double Hand. Not even using a True Double Hand rod, so her variance is terrible, but she's still doing it. And the last one here is Squall. So Squall's got STMR, he's got Plant Killer, he's got Trial Chapter 4 Challenge rewards. So you can get those right away. He's got status immunity. He's got Plant Killer. We assume that he has a Laguna friend who is going to gearing him up. But you don't really even need that. It's just I have it, so why not use it? It's fun. You don't even have to use this Squall. You could grab a friend Squall. You could grab any other damage dealer you want. I'm just showing how you can use the units that are in the EX shop to do this trial. So we're doing the easy version first, and then the hard version. So let's get into that. Here's the easier version first. Okay, they all have resistances and weaknesses to various things, but if you just make them weak to everything with Gilgamesh, then they take a lot of damage. So we're going to start by doing Genji Blade's Secret Sword Art to imperil everybody, and then just doing Tornado Chaining to just do some damage and fill LB gauges. Not even really that important. There we go. And Medina is just going to go ham. She's just going to do quad. She's going to buff herself, do a store, and then honestly just unload a Blizziga. And this is going to kill the boss. So this is obviously the easiest one just because it is, you know, level difficulty 190 something. Like it's really, really low. Medina's obviously strong enough to do that. You just have to do the Imperil first. Doing the Imperil allows her to do any damage to those guys because they all resist various things, and the Imperil to ice helps her take care of that. So there you go. That's the easy version, and that would have gotten us Plant Killer Plus and the middle range version of the flail for Human Killer. But the hard version is just slightly harder. So this one you want to evoke an Esper to get a 5-star select summon ticket. You want to complete the quest to get the mace, no items, defeat it within 20 turns for STMR tickets. We're going to try and do all of that. Okay. But we're going to use the same exact team. The gear's the same. Doesn't really matter. And we're going to get it done. Pretty straightforward here. A little bit different though. Notice that this boss has a break gauge, and the only one that has it is just the big body. And you want to kill the big body last or as part of your burst turn. So we're going to use our gauge breakers, which is going to be Gilgamesh and Shadow. Gilgamesh is going to use Secret Art Peerless Spear to break the gauge with spears, and Shadow is going to do the same thing with a Shadow Stab to break with katanas. There we go. There we go. Only broke a little bit. It's not a big deal. We're going to do some more next turn. Squall is just going to imbue with fire, and then use Accelerator Edge on the body to work the gauge just a little bit and do a little bit of damage. Not that much. There we go. And Medina is just going to use her Cosmo Plume to do stat buffs and for all allies, and store a little bit of magic, and just do a little bit of stuff, you know, whatever. Also working the gauge just a little bit, okay? That gets LB crystals flowing around. Beatrix is going to double. She's going to cover magic and use Saintly Protection to mitigate damage. There we go. We got an HP barrier. She's covering magic. It's all good. It gets some stat buffs. It throws some status ailments at us. We don't care because we're all geared for resistance. And she takes very little damage. Okay. We're ready to keep working the gauge. So we'll do that. We'll do triple stealth again. Shadow Stab. There we go. Nice. And triple hero again. We're going to use Peerless Spear to break the gauge. Okay. Shadow's going to finish that gauge off on the next turn, which is great. Squall is going to start getting ready for his burst on the next turn. We're going to use Lion's Rise, Lion's Spirit, and we choose to fight back. There we go. Medina can do a couple different things here. I would like to get the Esper gauge filled. So what we're actually going to do is just go ahead and chain. And so we're going to chain with freeze a couple of times to lower resistance to ice, and hopefully gather some crystals, either LB for Beatrix or ideally this to get the mission out of the way. Cool, we got it. Also working the gauge a little bit. That's important. So Beatrix is going to go ahead and cast Earthen Wall. If we couldn't cast Earthen Wall, we would do her LB, which is going to put up huge mitigation for the party. But we're going to go ahead and do this. There we go. Now we've cast an Esper, which was a requirement, right? And we're beating it within 20 turns, hopefully. No items used yet, and we're still on track to complete this quest. She's covering. She's taking a little bit of damage, not very much, because we geared her really well. We got all the good stuff happening here. Shadow's going to finish breaking the gauge. Right, we got the right one selected. There we go. Gauge is broken. So now we're ready. Gilgamesh is going to shift down to the base form where he's going to use quadruple black magic, Blizzaga. That's good. He's got that from the Arcana Rod. You can equip Blizzaga from any form you want to. You could buy it. You can have the spell. You could have an Esper with it. You know, whatever. He just needs to chain with Medina, doing quad Blizzaga as well. Doesn't really matter, but that's kind of our goal. And Squall is just gonna cap with the LB. He's all buffed up and ready to go, and we're gonna try and blow this thing out of the water. So here it goes. We're gonna start with Squall and then chain it up. Squall takes care of that very nicely on the 3rd turn. Relax, chainers. And we do quite a bit of damage. But there you go. You know, two challenges geared fairly well using mostly event gear and old STMRs and TMRs. Getting these 2 trials done out of the way with only units that are available in the EX shop, which I think is really fun and kind of cool. So yeah, there's where you can get some plant killer and some human killer off of the Scorn of the Antenolla if you've never done that before. And hopefully that helps you get ready for some of the stuff coming up this week. So that's it for right now. If you find that useful, you know, let me know in the comments below. If you don't have some of that, or if you want replacements or looking for ideas to trying to shift some things around, you know, let me know and I'll help you out as much as I can. But otherwise, I'll see you on Thursday for new content night over on Twitch. If you ever want to be part of the discussion, by the way, for getting ready for Tuesday preppers, I do stream on Tuesday night, which is where I kind of do my trial runs and my practice to try and get ready for Tuesday preppers. So definitely come out and check that out as well. And we also stream on Saturdays. I'm just doing fun stuff on Saturdays usually. That's it for right now. So I hope you guys have a great day and a great tomorrow and a great Wednesday. And see you on Thursday. And yeah, take care.